Good afternoon. This is Kathleen Drew, Chair of the Energy Facility Site Evaluation Council, calling to order our February meeting. Ms. Grantham, will you call the roll?
Certainly. Department of Commerce.
Kate Kelly, present.
Department of Ecology.
Eli Levitt, present.
Department of Fish and Wildlife.
Mike Livingston, present.
Department of Natural Resources.
Lenny Young, present.
Utilities and Transportation Commission.
Stacy Brewster, present.
Local government and optional state agencies for the Horse Heaven Project. Department of Agriculture, Derek Sanderson. For Benton County, Ed Brost.
Ed is here.
Thank you. For the Badger Mountain Project, Douglas County.
Jordan Julio, Douglas County, present.
For the Watoma Solar Project for Benton County, Dave Sharp.
Dave Sharp, present.
Washington State Department of Transportation.
Paul Gonseth, present.
The Assistant Attorney General, John Thompson.
I'm present.
Administrative Law Judges, Adam Torum.
This is Judge Torum. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can. Thank you. Laura
right.
Bradley.
Present.
Good afternoon, Judge Bradley's present.
Thank you. Dan Gerard.
Present as well. Thank you.
For EFSEC staff, Sonia Bumpus. Amy Hofgemeyer.
Amy Hofgemeyer, present.
Amy Moon.
Amy Moon, present.
Patty Betts. Stu Henderson. Joan Owens.
Present.
Dave Walker. Sonia Scavland.
Sonia Scavland, present.
Lisa Massengale.
Lisa Massengale, present.
If you have an open mic, can you please make sure to mute it? Next, we have Sarah Randolph.
Sarah Randolph, present.
Sean Green.
Sean Green, present.
Lance Caputo.
Lance Caputo, present.
John Barnes.
John Barnes, present.
Osta Davis.
Present.
Joanne Snarsky.
Joanne Snarsky, present.
For the operational updates, Kittitas Valley Wind Project.
Eric Melbardis, present.
Wild Horse Wind Power Project.
Galbraith, present.
Grace Harbor Energy Center.
Chris Sharon is present.
Chehalis Generation Facility.
Mike Adams, present.
Columbia Generating Station.
Marshall Schmidt, present.
Columbia Solar.
Owen Hurd, present.
And do we have someone for the Council for the Environment?
Sarah Reineveld, present.
Thank you. Chair, there is a quorum for the regular council, the Horse Heaven Council, Badger Mountain Council, and Watoma Solar Council. Thank you.
Thank you. Next item on is to adopt the proposed agenda. Is there a motion to adopt the proposed agenda?
Stacy Brewster, I move to adopt the proposed agenda.
Lenny Young, second.
Thank you. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? The agenda is adopted. Moving on to the meeting minutes. We'll start with the High Top and Ostria conditional use permit meeting from January 11th. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of that meeting?
Kate Kelly, motion to approve.
Thank you. Second?
Mike Livingston, second.
Okay, I have a few changes for this set of minutes. There are a few places throughout where Ostria, O-S-T-R-E-A, is spelled Ostra, O-S-T-R-A, so that those should be changed. On page 6, line 14, That's one of those places, but there are a couple other throughout. Page 11, line 5. Sheep, S-H-E-E-P, should be cheat, C-H-E-A-T. Page 11, line 9. Council, C-O-U-N-S-E-L, should be the council, C-O-U-N-C-I-L. Page 11, line 12. Property should be changed to proper. Page, I think that's right, 15, line 14. Remained should be changed to remaining. Those are the changes that I have. Are there any other changes from any council members?
This is Stacy Brewster. On page 11, line 22, the word siding, S-I-D-I-N-G, should read siting, S-I-T-I-N-G.
Thank you. Any others? All those in favor of amending the minutes and approving them with those changes, please say aye.
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 Opposed? The minutes are approved as amended. Moving on to the January council meeting minutes. Is there a motion to approve the January 18th council meeting minutes?
Lenny Young, so moved.
Thank you. Second?
Stacy Brewster, second.
I have a few changes. The first I have is on page 11, line 6. The word weren't should be changed to the word were, W-E-R-E. Line 8. Are a couple of changes. Add the word to, T-O, after Paul, and the word to, T-O, after Olympia. Delete the word sub, and on line 9, delete the word or, and change line to lines. On page 15, line 11, the letters FCA should be SCA. On page 20, line 5, the initials RASC should be changed to the word OR and the initials ASC. On page 21, line 22, the unidentified speaker is in fact Amy Hofkemeyer. Are there any other changes?
This is Stacy Brewster. On page 11, line 3, the word land should be replaced with plant.
Oh, thank you. Yes. Any other changes? Okay, hearing none. You've heard the amendments. All those in favor of amending the minutes with these corrections and approving them, please say aye.
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 Opposed? The minutes are approved as amended. Okay. We will now move on to the operational updates. Kittitas Valley Wind Project, Mr. Melbardis.
Good afternoon, Chair Drew, EFSEC Council staff. This is Eric Melbardis with EDP Renewables for the Kittitas Valley Wind Power Project. We had nothing non-routine to report.
Thank you. The Wild Horse Wind Power Project, Ms. Galbraith.
Thank you, Chair Drew, Councilman staff. This is Chuck Galbraith with
I'm sorry, we're having trouble hearing you. If you can speak into the mic.
Can you hear me now?
Much better, thank you.
Okay, Jennifer Galbraith with Puget Sound Energy representing the Wild Horse Wind Facility, and I have nothing non-routine to report for the month of January.
Thank you. Chehalis Generation Facility, Mr. Adams.
Hi, good afternoon, Chair Drew, EFSEC Council and staff. For the record, this is Mike Adams, Plant Manager representing Pacificor and the Chehalis Generation Facility. I have nothing non-routine to report for the month of January 2023.
Thank you. Grays Harbor Energy Center, Mr. Sharon.
Good afternoon, Chair Drew, council members, and EFSEC staff. For the month of January, I have nothing non-routine to report.
Thank you. Columbia Generating Station, Mr. Schmidt.
Good afternoon, Chair Drew, EFSEC council and staff. For the record, this is Marshall Schmidt reporting for Energy Northwest. For January 2023, I only have one item to report, and that is on January 9th and 10th, the Washington State Patrol Fire Protection Bureau completed the annual 2022 fire inspection of the Energy Northwest Industrial Development Complex and non-power block buildings at Columbia Generating Station. A re-inspection is going to be scheduled for later this year to evaluate the closure of some of the actions that came up. I have no other items to report for January.
Thank you. Project updates, Ms. Moon.
Good afternoon, and thank you, Chair Drew and council members. For the record, this is Amy Moon, EFSEC staff member, providing an update on the EFSEC Council Resolutions 299 and 332. Resolution 299 is for the Columbia Generating Station, which we call CGS for short. It's for their cooling system sediment disposal. And Resolution 332 is for the CGS Radiological Environmental Monitoring Program. These two resolutions include radionuclide air monitoring using dosimeters. In the environmental program at CGS, dosimeters are used to measure the ambient radiation dose in the environment. As explained to me by a radiation health physicist at the Washington Department of Health, this is the dose in air at a specific location from cosmogenic sources, from soil, and external dose from a source containing radioactive material. These small devices are made of a crystalline solid which trap electrons that are later freed from traps in the crystals and measured in the laboratory. The current EFSEC resolutions 299 and 332 specify Energy Northwest must use thermoluminescent dosimeters, or TLDs. The dose measurement technology has evolved since those resolutions were signed and issued, and the more recent technology uses optically stimulated luminescence, or OSL, dosimeters. OSL and TLDs are very similar, with the difference being in how the electrons captured on the crystals are freed from their traps. TLDs use heat to release the electrons, and OSL technology uses lasers. Both capture the light emitted, and the dose is calculated from the intensity of the emitted light. OSLs have a few advantages, including the ability to reread the dosimeters. They are less sensitive to changes in environmental conditions. That's a consideration in the hot summers, and there is a cost savings with this technology. Energy Northwest is adopting the newer OSL technology, thus requiring the update of two EFSEC resolutions to match the current practice and methods listed in Energy Northwest's operating documents, such as the off-site dose calculation manual. EFSEC staff is working on amending resolutions 299 and 332 to update the dosimeter specified for the full-time monitoring of direct radiation, and plan to present the amended resolutions to the EFSEC Council at the March 2023 Council meeting. In preparation for the updated resolutions, I'm presenting the background information on the amendments today. The change in dosimeters will continue to meet the Nuclear Regulatory Commission requirements as published in the NRC Regulatory Guide 4.13 for environmental dosimetry, including meeting the American National Standards Institute, otherwise known as ANSI or ANSI. It'll meet the performance testing and procedural specifications for dosimetry environmental applications. The NRC approved the license basis documents, which noted the change from thermoluminescence dosimeters to optically stimulated luminescence dosimeters. The Washington Department of Health provides technical oversight for the Radiological Environmental Monitoring Program and is aware of the dosimeter update and has no concerns or objections. The Department of Health switched to OSL dosimeters in 2012. EFSEC staff plan to present the proposed amendments to resolutions 299 and 332 at the March 15th council meeting. Does the council have any questions on that lengthy background explanation?
Are there
Amy,
any
this-
questions from
Oh,
council
sorry.
members?
Amy, this is Lenny Young. Is there any way in which the older thermally stipulated dosimeters are superior to the newer OSLs?
Not to my knowledge.
Thank you.
Thank you.
They both determine the dose of record. It's just a matter of how that's done, and the fact that the OSLs can be read more than once is a plus.
Understood. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Other questions from council members? We look forward to getting the amendments to the resolutions in our packets for next month's meeting. Thank you for giving us a preview.
You're welcome.
The NPDES permit, Ms. Moon.
Okay, that's me again. So good afternoon, Council Chair Drew, council members. This is Amy Moon, once again, providing an update on the National Pollutant Discharge Elimination System, or NPDES permit at the Columbia Generating Station. As I outlined in the January 2023 council meeting, the current NPDES permit was scheduled to expire on October 31st of 2019. However, the permit was administratively extended on September 13, 2019, after accepting the renewal application on August 6th of that year, in accordance with the Washington State Administrative Procedures Act, which is RCW 34.05.422 subsection 3. That's the citation, and the Washington Administrative Code 463-76-061 subpart 4. In terms of compliance with the State Environmental Policy Act, or SEPA, which is spelled out SEPA, the NPDES permit does not require a new SEPA threshold determination per the revised Code of Washington, code number 43.21C.0383, as the proposed changes meet the intent and purpose of the existing NPDES permit. Your February 15th, 2023 council packet contains the draft NPDES permit and draft fact sheet. You should have had some time to review that. And do you have any questions on the draft permit or fact sheet at this time?
Are there any questions about the draft permit or fact sheet?
Okay.
Hearing none, go ahead, continue.
All right, thank you. So since there are no questions, I'll just continue with the staff request. We are requesting the council take action on a tentative determination to approve the draft NPDES permit, which would allow staff to notice the draft NPDES permit and fact sheet for a minimum 30-day public comment period. I am also suggesting that EFSEC wait until the end of the public comment period to determine if a public hearing should be scheduled based on comments received. Does that council have any questions before you take action?
Any questions? Is there a motion to tentatively approve the NPDES permit for Columbia Generating Station pending the public comments. Motion?
Motion to
approve.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Thank you. Any other comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? The motion is adopted. Thank you. Next, we have Columbia Solar Project updates. Mr. Hurd.
Good afternoon, Chair Drew, council members, and EFSEC staff. This is Owen Hurd from Tuso Energy reporting on the Columbia Solar projects for the month of January. For Penstemon and Camas, which are both currently operational, the total generation was 324 megawatt hours and 309 megawatt hours respectively. And then for the final project, Urtica, we did achieve substantial completion last week. So that's also now operational. We've reached conceptual agreement on our planting plan revisions, which is now being finalized into a memo for EFSEC staff to review. And then 2 other points to mention. We will be scheduling our next TAC meeting probably in the next month. And then the final thing, I wanted to introduce Thomas Cushing from Greenbacker, who will be presenting these reports going forward. I believe Thomas is on the line if he wants to say hello. Otherwise, you'll hear from him next month.
Okay, thank you. Please introduce yourself. This is last name, Thomas.
Might be on mute.
If he's on. Otherwise, we look forward to hearing from him, and we will miss hearing from you.
Thanks. Thank you.
Okay. Moving on to the Horse Heaven Wind Farm project update. Ms. Moon.
Once again, good afternoon, Council Chair Drew and council members. This is Amy Moon, the EFSEC staff member. I'm providing a draft environmental impact statement or draft EIS update on the Horse Heaven Wind project. The public comment period for the draft EIS closed February 1st of 2023, just before midnight at 11:59 p.m. after a 45-day public comment period. Comments received during the comment period, including those received by email and U.S. mail, were uploaded to the comment database. The comments are available for council review in the EFSEC SharePoint site under the Council Review Horse Heaven tab, and are also posted to the EFSEC Horse Heaven Wind Project public website for council and public access. We received approximately 2,430 comments during the draft environmental impact statement comment period, including those received via email and U.S. mail. During that comment period, oral comments made during the February 1st draft EIS public comment hearing have not been posted yet and will be posted once we receive the hearing transcript from the court reporter and have a chance to separate out the individual comments to post from the individual speakers. EFSEC staff, in coordination with our consultant, Golder WSP, are reading all comments received, organizing comments by topic, and determining the next steps required for the development of a final EIS. Additional information gathering and analysis thereof is anticipated, but it is too early to speak definitively on what that will consist of. Does the council have any questions?
Well, my question is, you likely have repeat comments, both in the written comments and in the hearing comments. Are those combined or listed separately?
Well, so I'm not sure what you mean by repeat. People submitted written comments, but then at the oral hearing, speakers could provide comment, and those comments that were received at the hearing will be uploaded. We're not going to check to see if a written comment was verbatim from what an oral speaker presented at the hearing.
Okay, so you'll have both comments, the written and the oral separately. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think that it's real intuitive on, or maybe Andrea or Joan would be able to say on that comment database how you could tell the difference between what was an oral comment at the hearing versus what we received as a written comment.
Will they be classified differently in our, or listed separately?
I need Joan or Andrea to address that since they are the
Okay,
gurus.
We're asking now.
Chair Drew, this is Joan Owens. So we are still sorting through a lot of the comments. It is fairly clear when you look at them which ones were submitted through the database, which ones were submitted through the transcript just by the formatting. So if you want to have a look at those and let us know if you need us to identify them further, we can look at that.
I just thought it might be helpful to the council so that as they're reading comments, they know that the ones that came in orally in the public meeting separately from the written comments.
We'll try to identify those for you.
Okay, thank you. Are there other questions or comments from council members? Okay, I know a lot of cataloging and identifying work is going on as well as then reviewing the content. So thank you for all of that. Moving on to the
Hi.
Goose.
Chair Drew, before we move on.
Yes.
This is Judge Torum. I just want to be clear for all those listening that the labeling of a comment as verbal or written or otherwise is simply for us to know the context in which it was made, but all comments will be treated the same substantively under the law for SEPA and similarly under any of the 8050 laws regarding commenting during the adjudication. So I just want to make sure the public that's listening and all other parties understand that all comments are given the same weight regardless of the format.
Thank you, Judge. I appreciate that, and that's absolutely true. It was simply a way for the council members to be able to review in the context. Appreciate that very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, moving on to the Goose Prairie Solar Project update. Ms. Randolph.
Good afternoon. Thank you. Good afternoon, Chair Drew, council members, and staff. For the record, this is Sarah Randolph, the site specialist for Goose Prairie facility. Last month, the ISRP initial site restoration plan was approved by the council. EFSEC staff are continuing to receive and review documents being sent by the certificate holder for pre-construction plans. Staff will update the council as things progress. Are there any questions?
Any questions? Thank you. Badger Mountain Project update, Ms. Hofgemeyer.
Thank you. For the record, this is Amy Hofgemeyer. I'm sorry, are we on Badger Mountain?
Yes.
Okay. EFSEC staff are anticipating the responses to the data requests from the applicant in the coming weeks, which will be reviewed in support of the draft environmental impact statement, or EIS. Staff continue to work with our contractor and contracted agencies and the applicant in the evaluation of impacts and identification of mitigation in the draft EIS. Are there any questions?
Thank you. Whistling Ridge Project update, Ms. Hofgemeyer.
Thank you. Again, for the record, this is Amy Hofgemeyer. EFSEC staff are waiting for the certificate holder to submit the remaining materials for the SCA amendment request. There are no further updates at this time.
Thank you. High Top and Ostria staff recommendation, Ms. Hofgemeyer.
Thank you. Again, for the record, this is Amy Hofgemeyer. The council has in their packets the draft report to the governor prepared by staff at the direction of the council and in coordination with our Attorney General, John Thompson, and the administrative law judge for the project, Judge Bradley. We also provided a copy of the draft site certification agreements, or SCAs, for each facility. The draft report was open for public comment ahead of the council action today, and we received 4 comments. None of the comments received prompted changes in the draft documents. Staff did receive some edits from council members over the last week, and they are as follows. The word August was deleted from section 6, item 21, and the date has been corrected under section 6, item 25 to 2023. There were 2 instances where Councilmember Young's name was stated as Leonard Lenny Young with Lenny in quotations on page 9 and on the signature page. This has been revised in both instances to correctly state Councilmember Young's name as Lenny Young. There was another revision to the draft, which was sent to the council yesterday. Initially, staff had identified tribal engagement text in a separate report that was intended to be included in the package to the governor. After further discussion, we have included that language into this report, and this is the new section 3B. The following subsections within section 3 have been relettered accordingly. At this time, staff recommend that the council vote to approve the draft report to the governor and direct staff to prepare the package of documents, including the report and draft site certification agreements for delivery to the governor's office. Are there any questions?
Are there any questions? A lot of information in this packet. Is there a motion to recommend to the governor approval of the Cypress Creek renewables application?
Stacy Brewster, so moved.
Is there a second?
Lenny Young, second.
Thank you. And I will read what the actual motion in full should say. The council recommends that the governor of the state of Washington approve Cypress Creek Renewables LLC's application dated April 7, 2022 for site certification authorizing its subsidiary High Top Solar LLC to construct and operate the High Top Solar project and authorizing its subsidiary Ostria Solar LLC to construct and operate the Ostria Solar project. There's a motion before the council. Are there any comments? Questions?
Chair Drew, this is Mike Livingston.
Go ahead, Mike.
Go ahead,
Okay.
Mr. Livingston.
Thanks, Eli. Yeah, Chair, I wanted to first thank the company representatives and EFSEC staff for working with WDFW staff on allowing for some wildlife connectivity between the solar arrays. I know there was significant back and forth and dialogue there. I appreciate that and seeing that in the final documents. And also for the plan for some offsite mitigation as we move forward with the project. I'm going to also just say, and I'm supportive, I want to reiterate some of the concerns I had expressed early on about these projects in these areas with habitat connectivity. And as we review current other projects that are before us and new ones that may pop up, I think we need to continue to think about cumulative effects in this area and what that means for wildlife connectivity as we go forward. So just wanted to get those in the record. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Levitt?
Yeah, hi, Chair Drew and EFSEC staff. I'm curious, the HEAL Act passed the legislature in 2021, and it requires 6 or 7 agencies to do environmental justice assessments, among other things, and I don't believe EFSEC is one of those agencies. However, I'm curious if EFSEC staff have taken the time to look at communities around this project or other proposed projects to get a better understanding of whether materials might need to be translated into other languages, et cetera, to make sure we are reaching out to the people in the community who are impacted and need to understand information about the proposed projects.
Thank you for your question. We are not one of the agencies that are required to plan under the HEAL Act, but we are doing everything we can to comply with the requirements. I do know, I believe that some of the materials were translated, but I will ask Ms. Hofgemeyer to answer that question more fully.
Thank you. We have established a contract going forward for translation services and making sure that we are translating notices for meetings and other related project actions is something we are currently working into our process and is improving slowly but surely.
And also in terms of environmental justice, that is one of the reasons I asked for the tribal engagement work that has been completed to be in this document that is going to the governor to show the tribal engagement work in a transparent manner, so all understand the conversations that have taken place and the changes in the SEPA document, which took place because of that engagement as well.
Yeah, thank you, Amy and Chair Drew. I guess I'll just mention that if anyone on your team would like to learn more about how ecology uses two different tools, one is called EPA's EJ Screen, Environmental Justice Screen, and another is the Washington Department of Health's Environmental Health Disparities Map, or some people call it the Washington Tracking Network. So I'd be happy to provide context if people are interested in learning more about those tools.
Thank you. Are there additional comments or questions from council members? Okay, hearing none, we will call the roll on the adopting of the report to the governor on application number EF 220212. Ms. Grantham?
Certainly. Chair Drew?
Aye.
Department of Commerce, Kate Kelly?
Aye.
Department of Ecology, Eli Levitt?
Aye.
Department of Fish and Wildlife, Mike Livingston?
Aye.
Department of Natural Resources, Lenny Young?
Aye.
And finally, the Utilities and Transportation Commission, Stacy Brewster?
Aye.
Motion is adopted. Thank you. And I also would like to thank the staff for the work that has gone into the review of this application and the information provided to us. Thank you very much. Moving on to the Watoma Solar Project update, Mr. Caputo.
Thank you, Chair Drew and council members. For the record, my name is Lance Caputo, siting specialist assigned to the Watoma facility. In December of 2022, EFSEC sent the applicant a second request for additional information on the project. The applicant's response is due this week. We will assess the information so we can render the proper secret determination. Meanwhile, we are engaged in continual conversations with our consultants and the applicant.
Thank you. The Hop Hill Solar Project, Mr. Barnes.
Thank you, Chair Drew and council members. For the record, this is John Barnes, EFSEC staff member for Hop Hill. Thursday, February 23rd, 2023 is the date that has been decided for the Hop Hill Public Information Meeting and Land Use Consistency Hearing. This will be a hybrid meeting, as an in-person as well as a virtual option via Teams will be available. The location for the in-person meeting will be Three Rivers Convention Center, halls G and H. The address for the Three Rivers Convention Hall is 7016 West Grand Ridge Boulevard, Kennewick, Washington, 99336. The schedule will include open house from 5 p.m. to 5:30 p.m., Informational public meeting, 5:30 to 7, or last speaker, whichever is first. Land use consistency hearing, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m., or last speaker. Please note that the land use consistency hearing will begin no later than 30 minutes after the conclusion of the informational public meeting, which may end before 7 p.m. Additional information can be found visiting the Hop Hill project page of the EFSEC website. Staff has begun the review of the Hop Hill application and have initiated coordination with the applicant. Contracted agencies, tribal and technical staff, and as well as our review consultant, WSP. Are there any questions?
Any questions? That's next week. Thank you. Moving on to Carriger Solar, Ms. Hofkemeyer.
Thank you. For the record, this is Amy Hofkemeyer. On Friday, February 10th, 2023, EFSEC received the application for the Carriger Solar Facility. The applicant is here today to give a brief introduction to the project, more detail on which will be provided at the public informational meeting. Staff are currently working to schedule this meeting and will update the council and the public as details become available. Are there any questions?
No, go ahead.
All right, if there are no questions, I'll hand the floor over to the applicant to introduce themselves to the council.
Thank you, Ms. Heffmeyer. Good afternoon, Chair Drew, EFSEC Council for the Environment, and EFSEC staff. Thank you for the opportunity to introduce the Carriger Solar Project located in Klickitat County to the council today. My name is Ty Wallace. I am the Senior Director of Development in the Western Region for Cypress Creek Renewables. I'm standing in today for Lauren Altick, who is our developer. She got pulled away from this call for an urgent matter, but I'm pleasured to be able to introduce Cypress again and this project. So as the entity that owns this Project Co. LLC, I want to just give you a quick overview, but a further overview presentation and introduction of Carriger Solar will be had at the public information session and land use consistency hearing that's still to be scheduled. So briefly to introduce our team that will be engaged throughout this EFSEC process. As I said, Lauren Altick, she will be the developer and she's leading development for this project. Julie Alpert is our Senior Environmental Manager supporting the environmental diligence and compliance on the Carriger Solar Project. Leslie McLean from Tetra Tech is our Project Manager and Prime Environmental Consultant on the Carriger Solar Project. And Linda Atkins, who is our Land Use Counsel representing the Carriger Solar Project on behalf of Davis Wright and Tremaine, will be supporting us through this process. Cypress Creek is a mission-driven, integrated, renewable, independent power producer platform. We were founded in 2014, and we consist of a team of about 330 plus folks operating in 3 business units across the United States. Cypress Creek's mission is powering a sustainable future, one project at a time, and our values are our guideposts as we work across hundreds of individual projects in the U.S. These values consist of what we call the 5 C's: care, courage, creativity, conviction, and collaboration. CCR, Cypress Creek Renewables, currently focuses solely on solar and storage development, operations and management, and has developed over 12 gigawatts of solar projects across the U.S. to date. As a fully vertically integrated independent power producer, we develop our own projects, we provide first and third-party O&M services, and we provide first and third-party fleet and operation services. Our O&M portfolio includes over 4 gigawatts of assets under management and a world-class NERC registered control center located in North Carolina with 24/7, 365 remote operations capabilities to augment our on-site operations. Our fleet also includes 2 gigawatts of operational projects representing 217 projects in 14 states, and we have a long-term owner mindset. Now for the project. Carriger Solar is located approximately 3 miles east of Goldendale, Washington in Klickitat County, and is located mostly within the Klickitat County Energy Overlay Zone, adjacent to the Bonneville Power Administration Knight Substation. The The project is planned as a 160 megawatt AC solar project with an option for an AC coupled 63 megawatt battery energy storage system, or BESS, located adjacent to the substation location on site. The project intends to interconnect to the Bonneville Power Administration transmission system at BPA's 500 kV bus at night, and CCR has secured transmission deliverability for the energy attributes from this project to the customer. We've secured and executed a long-term offtake agreement to deliver the energy and environmental attributes from this project, and that energy and environmental attributes will be delivered to a Washington-based customer if we should be approved for site certification. Cypress Creek is taking a similar approach to siting the Carriger project as it did with Ostria and High Top. And we have started with a site control and study area of over 2,100 acres with the intent to mitigate adverse or material impacts to a non-significant level. We are considering impacts and habitat connectivity in the siting, as discussed by Mr. Livingston. Sorry, and we are taking the same approach and care in how we develop our project. We have been working on this project and doing development work and siting work, diligence, community engagement since 2018, when we first submitted our interconnection application. Our team looks forward to presenting the project to the EFSEC Council and staff and working with stakeholders to secure site certification for this project. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you. Are there any questions?
This is Lenny Young. Mr. Wallace, could you quickly situate the project with respect to the Little Klickitat River?
Certainly. I believe the Little Klickitat River, if I could, I would love to respond back to that in comments in writing. I don't have my maps in front of me to know the river, but we are aware of the fish hatchery, which I believe sits on that Little Klickitat River. And we are set back off of those and then have created both state and federal buffers off of those waterways and done the full delineation to identify, potential for fish bearing and all of the tributaries that lead into that. But I believe we are just east of the fish hatchery on Fish Hatchery Road in Goldendale, or outside of Goldendale.
Thank you.
Certainly.
Thank you. Well, we look forward to the entire presentation when we set the public informational meeting, and thank you for your time presenting to us today.
Thank you.
With that, we have nothing else before us, so this meeting is adjourned.